O'Hare to downtown, quicker on the express. Eisenhower, an hour and 7 minutes, 390 to the Circle, 50 minutes from Manhunt. Stevenson, an hour and 10 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Riot, 41 minutes from 95th to downtown. That's right. I'm Jim Alamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. In the 1 hour heating and air conditioning weather center, we see clouds and sunshine and 46 in our forecast for today. But clouds return for the overnight with a period of rain and a low of 41. Right now, mostly sunny and 40 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
That's enough. Put down the mic.
On AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy and Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx releasing her reelection kickoff video announcement yesterday, and
she didn't hold anything back. How do you really feel, Kim Foxx?
There's a few things that are preventing enhanced public safety in Chicago, and she names them.
It's different now. But I grew up at Larrabee and Division, better known as Cabrini Green. It's where I learned to be tough, to survive, overcame poverty and sexual assault. For years, the name Cabrini Green was synonymous with racism and poverty, and the towers were symbols for inequality and injustice in Chicago. Time passed, and the projects came down, but those problems haven't changed. Now new names symbolize injustice. Names like John Burge and Laquan McDonald. 4 years ago, I ran for state's attorney to change criminal justice in Cook County. I'm running again because we're only getting started. State's attorney is a tough job. Every day my office is under attack. From a president who uses our city as a punching bag, the NRA hell-bent on letting guns flood our streets, and the FOP clinging to the old ways. They'll do anything to undercut progress, including attacking me personally over the Jussie Smollett case. Truth is, I didn't handle it well. I own that. I'm making changes in my office to make sure we do better. That's what reform is about. But we all know those attacks aren't just about one case. They're about stopping progress in Cook County. And those voices won't tell you that on my watch, we're prosecuting more violent crimes, not just low-level offenses. That gun prosecutions are up. That we're a national model for reform. And that while they focus on headlines, we put the killers of Hadia Pendleton and Tyshawn Lee behind bars. So hear it from me, a girl from Cabrini and a woman standing up to that old boys club. We're on the right path to reforming criminal justice in Cook County and making the system work for everyone. But there's still work to do, and I need your help. Join me.
It's a wonderful musical score.
Oh, I know. Kept the crescendo towards the end. It's getting more serious. And I'm going to do it. I came from Cabrini Green. I blame the NRA and the FOP and President Trump for everything. I mean, it was a joke.
So updating what we know from the Kim Foxx record, and we've reviewed any number of cases like this. This at CWB Chicago yesterday. Since being paroled in late August, an 8-time convicted drug dealer last month was arrested twice for selling narcotics in Chicago. Judges released him both times, one on electric monitoring. Now police say he escaped from the home monitoring program and last week robbed 2 people in the downtown area. This following up on a murder case that involved a weapon that was allegedly part of Chicago's gun buyback program. And how many other cases we know of murders around home electronic monitoring and the other myriad instances of turnstile justice at Cook County State's Attorney's Office to the extent they want to prosecute what are now being termed lifestyle crimes at all, meaning, stealing anything less than $1,000. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by somebody from the Old Boys Network who's resistant to change and part of the problem. He's Kevin Graham. He's the president of FOP in Chicago. Kevin, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Sort of remarkable for a candidate for state's attorney, much less the incumbent state's attorney, to take out after rank and file police officers that her prosecutors deal with on a daily basis to remove criminals from the streets.
Well, yes, it is a new revelation for her, but the reality of this is that we held a press conference here about a year ago, and we had over 100 police chiefs here that all said the same thing. She's not doing the job of prosecuting people, that we need to have safer streets, and the way to do that is to be a tougher prosecutor. Now, she can't just very well say, oh, we're on the road to change. Well, we're on a road to change, but it's not a good change. And we need to get tougher on a lot of crimes, and we're still trying to figure out last night, the person that shot a police officer had already been arrested for other crimes, and we're working on trying to get his background as to what he did. Too many people are out on the street committing more crimes because they should be in jail.
Well, have you ever been vilified, or the Chicago Police FOP, have you ever been vilified before by a Cook County state's attorney?
Never.
Yeah, it's really a development. I mean, I don't know what's the end game here. If the perception is there's tension between the state's attorney's office, state's attorneys, and the police, that they're not working from the same playbook, then that means that the streets are less safe. I mean, it's just as simple as that, isn't it?
Well, she needs to get on board with the Fraternal Order of Police, because we've been here trying to keep the people safe in the city of Chicago for hundreds of years. We are still going to be doing that, but we need somebody who's going to keep people in jail and prosecute people. We already have public defenders. We need somebody who's going to prosecute people and make sure that when people are walking around in their neighborhoods, or whether they're walking around on Michigan Avenue or even just going out to a restaurant, that they're safe. And we'll do our job and arrest the people, but it can't be like a hockey penalty box where you just put them in for a few minutes and then let them go.
Well, it seems like she likes to prosecute police officers. Is there any candidate for Cook County State's Attorney's office that you're supporting, or that the FOP is backing?
You know what? I mean, we are looking around. We actually have our political action committee that is taking a look at people right after the first of the year. We're going to have the people who are running, who are seeking the endorsement of FOP, come in and talk to the political action committee. Then they make a recommendation to the board of directors, and the board of directors at that time will give a endorsement. They'll give an endorsement, or they'll make no endorsement. But usually, I would guess that they are going to support someone in this race, and I would encourage them to do so.
The clear implication in that video that we played is that the FOP is racist.
That's ridiculous. That is not true. We have a large number of officers that are minority. And I think one of the things that I think is not recognized is how many officers are come from mixed marriages, their parents are mixed races, and that isn't talked about. And I think to say that the Chicago Police Department is racist is an insult, and it's an insult to all of our members.
But do you think that Kim Foxx believes that? Is that what she's saying? In terms of what you're hearing?
When you start to what she said was she accused Trump of being racist. That's my understanding, and lumped us in with that.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
so
blaming
if
the
that was her
NRA.
intention, I think she succeeded. But we are certainly not, and we extend our arms to everybody. And I want to point this out: the Chicago Fraternal Order of Police was the first FOP in the nation to denounce racism and make sure that we did not have biased policing. And then we encouraged the National to take that oath at one of our meetings, and that was probably in the early 2000s.
And with respect to this, though, so one of the criticisms is like that protest that happened outside of 69 West Washington back in the day over the handling of the Smollett case. It was mostly white police officers.
And you were there because you're in the ad.
I
saw Dan. You were there.
Well, so was Kevin Graham.
Yeah.
And so the question is are the black rank and file officers, or even those in leadership in the department, are they as upset about Kim Foxx targeting the FOP and by extension the Chicago police as the white officers? In other words, does this transcend the racial lines with respect to this antagonism between FOP and the state's attorney?
Look, if you are African American or you are a person of color, I think you always are going to be thinking about whether or not decisions are being made because of the race, and I understand that. I also know that police officers are police officers. There is only one color in the Chicago Police Department, and that is blue, and we are here for each other. Last night I was at the hospital, and everybody of all races and genders were there supporting our officer who was injured, and that's the way this department operates. We do not look at people's color of their skin, and we try and give the best police service to the public, regardless of who they are. And so I find it disturbing that people try to interject race into policing, because that is certainly not what the FOP stands for. That's certainly not what the Chicago Police stand for. We are here to provide the best possible service and protection to the people of the city of Chicago.
And can you tell us the status of that police officer and how long he's been on the force?
He's been on the force for about 17 years. I believe he has over 100 either honorable mentions or commendations. He is a well-decorated officer, a very good guy. He was extremely lucky last night, even though he was shot. That bullet, missed his eye by about an inch, maybe less. And I was talking to him, talking to his family, and we hope that he has a speedy recovery. They are certainly watching to make sure that there aren't additional complications, and they are checking him about every 15 minutes. So,
since you were thrown in, FOP was thrown in with President Trump, is it FOP's position that Chicago Police, the department, the hierarchy, the mayor's office, the Cook County State's Attorney's office, should work with whoever the President of the United States is, particularly if that President of the United States is offering to help with resources, both on the police side as well as on the prosecutor side, the law enforcement side, as President Trump has?
First of all, I do think it's important to recognize the President of the United States. I don't care who it is, and it doesn't matter, whether that's the same party or not. You owe a certain respect to the office that person holds, and obviously, I'm not rehashing old wounds here, but obviously, when he came to town, he should have been greeted by the mayor and the police superintendent, which we took exception to. Putting that aside, I also think that we need some assistance here that has been provided by the president and by the federal government with prosecutors, with agents on the ground. And if you remember, we had an agent that was seriously injured about a year and a half ago. Those people who have come here for help to assist the Chicago Police Department have done an outstanding job, and I don't think you can turn your back on the federal assistance that we have been given. We need additional assistance, and I think it's a bad idea to turn our back on both the president and the federal government at this point.
He is Kevin Graham. He's the president of Chicago FOP. Kevin, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And can I say one last thing?
Sure.
And that is the men and women of the Chicago Police Department do an outstanding job in every single district in this city and the specialized units to protect the people of the city.
All right. Thank you, Kevin Graham. We appreciate it.
And
thank you.
He joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I'm 58 years old. You know, I'm a very active person. I have my own business and I run around all the time. And I actually work out. I lift weights. And I started taking the Balance of Nature in the beginning, and it was an amazing thing. It's helped me with everything. I used to say, I don't feel old, but I don't feel young anymore. But since taking the Balance of Nature, I have to say I'm starting to feel young again.
Experience the balance